having those magnetic highs surrounding the exterior of that intrusion, it could have came up and pushed basically everything around it. So those could have been black smokers in a line, and then they just got formed around the intrusion that came up. Yeah.
Steady progress is being made in Kirkland Lake Discoveries 2024 drill program. Drilling has now concluded at the Hargraves site, and the drill is loaded up and being moved to the Joe Zone for the final holes of the season.
I'm loading the drill. Another pad.
As the core continues to roll in, it is processed and shipped to the lab. The team will await the results and compile the data once everything is received. Looking ahead, Steph and Drake wander over to KL West to chat about what's to come for 2025 and their excitement for the new targets they've been developing.
Now this is the area that we got really excited about with the soils. This is one of the swampy zones. You know, the team got out here this summer, and when we talked with ALS, they talked about how there was these conductivity anomalies that could potentially be VMS, and you know, this one in particular aligned with a copper showing.
Over by West Susquehanna, there's a lot of anomalies over there that kind of stood out relative to everything else. There's that one EM anomaly from the that copper zinc showing that we have over there, and then there's also anomalies on top of the gold mineralization that we found in that area too. There's a lot of swamp there, so we can't really necessarily see all of the geology in that area, but what we can see, we know there's gold there, so the fact that that lights up is pretty exciting.
So obviously we have this winter wonderland here, which is awesome, but we can't show any of the rocks or anything like that. So what would you be looking for if you're looking for VMS stuff?
You kind of want to find if there's like a churly exhalative horizon or banded iron formation kind of distal to where the actual black smoker vent would be for the VMS deposit. And then as you kind of get further into where the actual VMS kind of system is, you get a felsic cap. So you have a banded iron formation or a churly layer on the distal to it, and then you move into maybe some mafic volcanics and then a felsic cap on it. And what that's showing is bimodal volcanism. It kind of goes from iron oxides, so say like magnetite or hematite, and then it transitions into, I believe it's like a lead zinc kind of thing, so maybe some sphalerite. And then right in the middle, like right in the sweet spot for the system, you get your copper sulfides.
Okay.
And in there, if you can get, if you can find like a brecciation pipe, which was carrying the mineralization up, then that's perfect.
Some people might not know, but VMS, what does that stand for?
So it's a volcanogenic massive sulfide, and basically where these are formed is at the bottom of the ocean. And so you have these black smokers coming up. Basically it's heat vents for sulfide and metal rich waters that are really hot, circulating through the earth, and then they extrude or get pushed up through this black smoker. And so you have this metal rich hot liquid coming out of there, right? Then that gets deposited on the seafloor because it hits the cold water
And immediately
precipitates out.
Yeah.
And that's why you get these, it's a massive sulfide deposit because you have all those metals in those in the fluid, and then it just dumps out on top of the ocean floor. So that's what we're looking at. You can have multiple black smokers in a row, right?
Yeah.
It might not be just one in isolation. Having those magnetic highs surrounding the exterior of that intrusion, it could have came up and pushed basically everything around it. So those could have been black smokers in a line, and then they just got formed around the intrusion that came up. The fact that it's been underlooked, underexplored in a really good rock package is exciting. The soils over top of it's exciting. You know, the EM anomalies that ALS has picked out for us is they're kind of all pointing towards something potentially being there, right?
So these soils are lighting up with copper around this intrusion, this big granite intrusion.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, well, let's look and see what else is going on. And that's where we saw, you know, the Winnie drill hole where we're like, oh,
crazy numbers out of it.
Yeah, like 20 meters of 2.4% copper or whatever it was.
And 0.98 gold.
Yeah.
98 grams per ton gold. Okay, let's go.
That was where we were like, okay, well, let's take a look and see what else is around there. And, you know, that's where we saw all those magnetic highs. And
Yeah, we had those individual kind of bullseyes all lined up along the exterior of the intrusion. And a lot of those bullseyes are either undercover or hasn't been touched outside of the Winnie showing.
That's what got me super excited when I was like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
These things and these things might line up. And that led us to obviously do the ALS, you know, analysis of the EM that was already done over the property. We have all of these copper numbers in the soil and the EM anomaly and a showing, you know, from a past, you know, explorer that basically saw, okay, well, this is a VMS copper type of thing. We're like, okay, well, this is exciting. This is
absolutely, yeah. I think we got to drill it, to be honest, because we've done the soils, we're doing the geophysics analysis through ALS, right? That plus what we see in the magnetics, it's like, you know, because it's undercover, we kind of got to put a hole in it. We can maybe do, like if we were going to do a top bedrock sampling over the area, but that might not tell us as much as we need to know because it could be 40 meters down, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of got to test the subsurface rather than just the top bedrock. We need to permit it first. We have a consultant that we sit down with, and basically we give him areas of where we want to do drilling, and he then takes a map and puts those points like collar locations on a map, and then you have a 200-meter radius around that collar location for where you can actually make a pad and drill. And so we cover that area, we submit it to him, he sends it to the government, and then it gets posted. And so once it's posted online, it's publicly available, and that allows for any feedback from any groups or parties to that may be impacted by this or have a concern by it. They get to voice their opinion on it. We get to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, and obviously with that, we work with our First Nation partners. So whether it's Matachewan or Beaver House First Nation, we talk about, you know, are there any concerns? Are there any artifacts in the area? Are there any you know, historical things that might be around here that we need to be aware of? And you know, they might say, you know, avoid this area that's right by the water.
So we plan that out prior to even submitting it, so those questions are mitigated beforehand.
That basically covers the process to get the permit, and then we put out for, you know, a tender for the drilling. You know, this one would be much more straightforward.
It's a lot easier to drill in the winter in these types of areas because, you know, you could just glide along the snow instead of having to go around swamps and getting stuck and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So, and there's also less environmental damage or any sort of footprint in the winter too, right? Because you're not, you know,
you're not breaking any ground. Exactly. You're right on top of it, which
100%,
is great.
yeah. And it's good because this area has nice access too.
Yes.
So there's a lot of forestry roads in there that we can make trails off of. So it's, you know,
yeah,
it's good access.
Well, it also makes it a lot more efficient for us, right? So rather than having to spend half our budget on creating a trail, you know, we just basically go, okay, well, this trail's already here. Let's add, you know, a 100-meter access or whatever it may be.
100%.
And you know, you just basically create a path.
Tee off of the road, basically.
Exactly.
And, for mapping this summer, we know the orientation of the rocks there, so we know, you know, what the surface is striking and what it's dipping. So it's pretty easy to plan a hole in there. Plus, those magnetic bullseyes
make it pretty easy.
Yeah.
Stefan will now pack up and head out on the long trek back to Guelph. But before he does, he and the team gather back at the house for a little pizza party. This pizza joint is invite only, and everything is handmade. The team enjoys their last night together in Kirkland Lake, enjoying the food, the company, and even a little live music.